For my final exam project, I chose the brand Worx, and I decided to design home and kitchen appliances that run on 20-volt batteries. My participants were asked to pick their 3 favorite appliances on the board and their 3 worst appliances on the board. They were also asked what would they look for in buying the particular product on the board, as well as what would they avoid when buying the particular product on the board. For Kettles, most of my participant panel chose relatively the same products as their favorite and worst. A lot of the key design points that were picked out by my participants regarded the performance of the particular kettle. This also included ergonomic design, the water volume, energy efficiency, as well as the rate of heating. What to avoid when designing the kettle would be metal handles, as well as weak handles, and the body placement of the handle so it doesn't burn your hand when pouring. These were the best and worst kettle designs. Coffee machines were also quite similar in results of their favorite and worst designs. However, there were some differences across the board. One of the main things that my participants look for in a coffee machine is that it grinds the coffee beans as well as makes the coffee, and also has easy to access instructions. One of my participants also likes capsule compatibility. This does not mean I have to only do a capsule design. Things that they would avoid was a machine that wasn't a nice brand, as well as a small water tank, and if it cannot take big mugs. These are the best and worst designs of coffee machine. For the clothing iron responses, the answers were quite different across the board, with some of my participants picking completely different designs and not all of them having very similar answers. The things that my participants would look for in designing an iron would be an ergonomic handle, something that would be sleek, or even a revamped version of an old school design, as well as lightweight and heating options. Things my participants would avoid is unsafe heating elements, a weird looking design, as well as heavy and slow heating. These are the best and worst iron designs. The responses for Bluetooth speakers was also quite different across the board, with one of my participants having 3 completely different answers to my other 2 participants. This does create an outlier in my research. However, the things my participants would look for are quite similar, with compact design, reasonable pricing, the volume, and how loud it can go, as well as having a built-in power bank. The battery life has to be also quite reasonable, with good quality sound and water/drop resistant. The things my participants would avoid are short battery life. They don't want speakers that will be lighting up and have bad quality sound, as well as a weak case and a charging port that breaks easily. These are the best and worst speaker designs. The responses for power banks were also quite different across the board, with one of my participants again being a bit of an outlier in the survey taken. However, the responses for what they're looking for in the design are all quite similar, with a compact design, something that has a good battery life rather than the actual looks being appealing, but as well as something that can fit in the pocket easily. They also want a range of charging ports, a strong case, and a power level indicator. Things that they would avoid would be a short battery life, cheaply made products, as well as poor quality batteries and no overload protection. These are the best and worst power bank designs. For the responses of generators, my participants had very different answers across the board entirely, with 2 of my participants picking relatively the same answers and one of my participants picking the opposite of what my other 2 participants picked. This created a major outlier in my research. However, they still have similar aspects they like to look for when buying the product. They would like a good quality material encasing the generator. They would like the generator to last long and to have multiple ports. They would also like it to be ergonomic, have a large power capacity, a relatively fast charging rate, and even unique ports like a USB Type-C, Type-2, and a 3-point pin plug. Things they would avoid would be lower compatibility with different power output methods, brightly colored or flamboyant products, no overload protection, as well as no fall protection, meaning a weak case, no cover for outputs to protect it from water and and moisture, as well as a flimsy carrying handle. These are the best and worst designs of generators. My participant panel's answers have shown me that I have three strong design concepts, this being a power station that works similar to a generator but is completely powered on 20-volt batteries, a coffee machine that is also powered by 20-volt batteries, as well as a Bluetooth speaker that is powered with 20-volt batteries. I'll be conducting ongoing research with these three concept avenues over the next few days, while doing concept designs for all three of the avenues, leading me to one final avenue that I can develop further. Thank you for listening to my participant panel's responses.